Hey everyone, Dan, Real Estate Dynamics Weekend Edition. I'm with Dan. We're down here in Paddington. We're at Urban, his agency since 2012. I wanted to ask him, what's exciting him about real estate now?
You know, the future of real estate for me is really exciting. And I think
Why?
that it's all about the agents going forward. And for so long, we've had this, old model that came out well before there was the internet, well before there were computers. People used to, if they wanted to buy a house, they'd go down to their local area, they'd look in the window, see the window cards, agent would drive them around.
Yep.
And so you needed to have, these offices in every single suburb, and you needed to have kind of like these franchises that pulled them all together, and kind of wrap some services around them. The cool thing about the future, Dean, is that the internet has completely revolutionised the industry. Now, the internet is the new office window. When buyers are looking, they get on realestate.com or domain.com or probably urbanproperty.com, and they jump online, and that's where they find properties. They don't get in your car, they meet you directly at the property. And now with DocuSign and everything like that, if you've got local vendors, you're going to go and see them. If they're not, you can just email the contract to them. And so you just don't need an office in every suburb anymore. And therefore, you really just don't need franchises anymore. What excites me about the industry is that this actually allows real estate agents to step up and come up and work directly for their clients, freelance almost in a way. And that's where the relationship actually exists. And I think that the future of real estate is very much a client and agent direct relationship.
So what about robots? What about, AI? What about, virtual reality? All those things. How does that fit within?
Yeah, I love this conversation, Dean, because real estate agents are the future of real estate. It's not AI and it's not robots, because when people are dealing with their largest ever transaction, for most people, they want someone to guide them through that process. They want someone to hold their hand.
I agree with that.
They want
100%.
someone to give them advice. If I meet a vendor, I will go out, I'll show them there's only two reasons why any property won't sell, and that's price and presentation. And so rather than focusing on price, let's focus on presentation. And so we can actually focus on presentation, show them how to present the property, what's the first impression from the street, how does it look, what do you need to paint, how do you need to decorate, what should you take out, what should you rearrange. You do all of that right, price will take care of itself, because it'll look great, it'll get a lot of competition, and price will take care of itself. No robot's going to take someone through that process. No one's going to guide them through that process. And then from a negotiation point of view, you need someone to act as an intermediary. I mean, I always say, divorce lawyers aren't going anywhere. You're always going to have two parties at opposite ends of the spectrum, and someone's got to bring them together. And real estate agents are kind of the same.
Well, you got the buyer here and you got the seller, or either.
I love this, Dean. So, sellers nearly always want too much. Buyers
up to 10%.
Yeah,
And he's
buyers
using 10%.
nearly always want to pay too little, and so there's this gap. Right? And a lot of people get frustrated by the gap. Celebrate the gap, because that gap is our industry. That is why we have an industry. If houses just had a value...
Another very valid point.
If houses just had a value and buyers were just happy to pay it...
I buy stuff out of
that
the
would
States
work.
and bang, bang,
that'd
bang.
work.
Yeah.
That'd work. But, sellers nearly always want... they want to maximise the value.
And fair enough.
And fair enough. And buyers want to get the best possible deal at the time. Yeah. And so there's nearly always a gap.
There's a dance to play.
There's a dance to, and we bring that gap together. Yeah. And so I actually celebrate the gap, because if it wasn't for that gap, we wouldn't have an industry. And that's why we'll always have an industry.
Yeah, and I think on a summary of that tech will never take over place of touch. That the touch of what we're doing, the face-to-face, is really important.
The touch, hey.
Cheers. Thanks.